Hey crafty people, it's Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here or you haven't already, I'd love it if you could hit that subscribe button and the bell below, then you'll be notified every time I post a video. It would mean the world to me. Okay, today I am going to be doing some painting with my Altenew Watercolour Markers. Just bought them for myself for my birthday, from my birthday pennies. So I stamped out the Statement Flowers set by Altenew in Altenew Obsidian's Pigment ink. That is a really dark, beautiful, crisp ink that works great with watercolour. Stamped it onto a piece of Holtz watercolour cardstock, the pre-cut panels, on the smoother side of the cardstock. I grabbed out a couple of the markers from my new stash. I got Rubelite and Midnight Violet. I have made some swatches to help me see what colours I have and choose which colour I want to use. So I grabbed those out to choose the colours to make sure that they went together nicely. I think that they were both from the Spring Bouquet set, but I can't remember. So again, I will have it linked below. This was the first time that I tried to do anything other than just those swatches with these watercolour markers. I'm gonna tell you the truth, it did not go to plan. But I actually really loved the way that it turned out. So I started by grabbing my favourite black velvet brush and wetting the petal first, and then adding some of the watercolour straight from the marker onto the page. My plan was that I would put some into the base of the petal and then tease it out with some water and my paintbrush. But I wasn't really getting very far. I think I was a bit nervous to squeeze the pen too hard in case I broke it or a huge dollop of colour came out. So I grabbed just a laminated piece of paper that I've got that I use as a palette, grabbed that and just dropped some onto there to try and use. And obviously with watercolours you work in layers anyway, and I dried it and then went back in. I just decided no and just whacked loads of colour on. I then swapped brush as well because the brush that I was using was way too small for the area that I was painting, but I wanted to use my favourite brush. But I had to give in the end, and got out a larger brush. It's the Rubelite that I'm using there, and as you can see it did stain the paper really quite a lot every time I dropped it in, so I'm not sure quite what I was doing to get so wrong there. But I decided to let that dry and moved on to the other flower that I decided to do a Midnight Violet. By this point I just thought, oh, just paint the whole thing, just paint it all, get some purple, get some colour down, dry it all off and then see where we are at that point. So that's what I did. Then I went back to the first flower and decided to add some drops of Midnight Violet and some more of the Rubelite into each petal. I just really wet the petal first and then just drop the colour in and let it do what it does best, really. I just decided to go for colour, bold colour, which is not what I was intending to do. I was intending to do a realistic painting, but it just wasn't happening then. So I actually really love how it came out. I added some more of the Rubelite to the top flower, so that both flowers were now a mixture of the Rubelite and the Midnight Violet. I put some of the colour onto my little palette and lifted it up, added a little bit of water, and then I flicked it off the edge of that palette to get some colour splashes. Did that with both the Midnight Violet and the Rubelite. I did it whilst the flowers were still somewhat damp, so those colours sort of bloom in the damp areas, and then there are spots of colour everywhere else. I grabbed the warm grey marker to colour my leaves because I was not feeling in a green mood. I wanted the psychedelic flowers to stand out, and that they did. So I painted, I just did all the leaves with the warm grey. Again, worked in layers there. Added a sort of lightish base of colour all the way over the leaf, and then once I'd done that and that had dried, I went back in and added more colour, again using that palette to put some colour onto from my marker. I have used them again since this and had more of my intended result with them. This was just the very first time that I used them, other than, as I said, those little swatches, so I didn't really know what to do and how to work, and I think it's important that we have to explore that. How do they work for you? How can you apply them to the style that you want to make? I think that that's true of any new medium that we try. And they are very, very, very highly pigmented, so that is something that you need to bear in mind, because they are very highly pigmented. Once I'd finished, I also stamped out the same stamp onto a second piece of the watercolour paper. Oh no, I added some silver. I grabbed the metallic silver one, and added some silver to all the petals. Completely forgot about that. Just a little thin wash of the silver, just to give it a little bit of a sheen, and that was quite pretty. Then I got a second sheet stamped in exactly the same place on exactly the same paper, and I cut a diamond out of each one using the Thin Frames diamond die set, and I swapped the diamonds over, so you have a pop of colour in an otherwise black and white image, and a pop of black and white in an otherwise colourful psychedelic image. The thin frame that the diamond cut out, I cut from some Tonic black mirror cardstock that I like. Added that, and then I cut the same size diamond several times from some other mixed media paper that I had, so that I could pop up each of the diamonds. And I added a sentiment from the Mega Label Love die set. I did do these as part of the further exploration for my Altenew workshop, which hopefully I've had the results for by now, and hopefully is positive when this video goes out. As of now, I'm not sure. I'm still waiting nervously, but hopefully I will be an Altenew educator when this video goes out. Otherwise I'll hastily come back and remove this from my voiceover. So I hope you like the cards that we made today. I love a good excuse for a twofer. You don't even need an excuse for a twofer. Love it. Let me know if you like it. If you decide to try this technique, then please do tag me on Instagram, Facebook, or wherever. I love to see what you guys are up to. I will be back shortly with another video, but in the meantime, I hope you have a safe, happy, and healthy week. Stay crafty. Bye!